Hi, I'm Eddie.
Hi, I'm Taz.
And today we're going to talk about whether it's normal to feel anxious.
Am I? I don't know, weirdo.
Everybody feels anxious sometimes. Taz, when do you think it might be a problem?
I think for me personally, it comes down to how much control you have over it. So there's, I would say, regular anxiousness where, everyone feels nervous in everyday life when it's exams and things like that. But then there's times in my life where I've had everything was great. There was no trigger or anything that made me feel like, oh, it's because of this. But I had overwhelmingly, I guess I would describe it as anxiety, where it's a very palpable feeling. So it's very like, it's an internal, it kind of takes over your mentality as well. So you can't concentrate or do anything.
And do you feel it physically as
Yeah,
well?
I feel it physically. I would describe it as two things, like a sinking feeling. I feel like something bad is going to happen. Another thing is like, I'm going to try physically inside.
It's like you can't cope with the feelings.
Yeah, and it's very, you can't concentrate or do anything. It's internally, you're just feeling a lot.
So it sounds like it's like on a scale. So you got kind of one end where, it's something that you can manage, and then it becomes something that, is really unmanageable.
Yeah.
Some people might say that there's no reason to feel anxious about something.
This is something I had a lot, especially around high school time when I didn't know what anxiety was. I would feel it, and one of the most common things my friends would say is, oh, just calm down. Everyone in my life would be like, oh, just calm down. Like, it was that easy. But obviously at the time I didn't know what I was feeling was anxiety, and my friends were obviously just trying to help. And because of that, what I would do is I'd suppress. If ever I felt like that, I wouldn't tell them about it. It made things worse. It was sort of building up inside. As I got older, I started to understand a bit more of what anxiety was, that it was a legit thing. And I was like, maybe this is what I'm feeling. And it validated what I was feeling. It wasn't just me overreacting or being too emotional. It was something that was out of my control, and there was, science behind it. And once I figured out that this was a legit thing, that helped me a lot in terms of standing up for myself, saying, like, I can't just calm down right now. This is something happening to me, not because of me.
Yeah.
It's not something I can completely control. So that helped a lot. Just educating people around me, and so they understood and knew how to best help me. Instead of saying, like, calm down, that's not going to help. Try to talk to them, and maybe that would help.
Sometimes people don't really understand how it is for someone, I guess.
So I didn't know what anxiety was. I didn't know how best to deal with it. And I found methods that helped me through time. So things like medication, talking to people, counselling. It's sort of, there's no one answer to it. It's very much, you just go through life and say to your friend, okay, maybe that advice would work for some people. It wouldn't work for me. Try various options and just see what helps.
But it's important to remember that your feelings are valid.
Are valid, yeah. At the end of the day, like, what you're feeling is real.
When you were talking about your own experiences, and how did you know that it was anxiety?
Well, I did it for the longest time. I started off watching a lot of YouTube videos and people were talking about anxiety. And then I looked online and I wasn't sure. And in the end, I just went to a professional. I went to the doctors, and they suggested different options. That could be medication, that could be therapy, that could be CBT, talking to a friend.
So I guess there's different ways of getting support, but if you think it's a problem, then
Go to
I
a
guess
specialist.
it's important to see a doctor or see
Don't
someone.
Google it, because that's gonna freak you out. Just go to a doctor. And it's not as scary as you think, because I was really bad and I took years. But going to doctors, after I did it, I was like, why didn't I do this sooner?
It can be quite hard for people to reach out for support. What was it that encouraged you to do that?
It was actually my mum who booked the doctor's appointment, and that's how I ended up going to the doctors. I put it off for a long time, I suppressed it, but it was clearly coming out in my behaviour, and people around me could tell that something wasn't right. But now in hindsight, after receiving the support, I would encourage anyone to just take that step, or confide in family members and all that, and go with them.
Yeah.
So you have that support with you. But if you feel like you don't have that support in your life, then there are other resources available, such as Childline. They can advise you on what steps to take and things like that.
Everyday anxiety can be difficult as well. What can you do to help?
There's a lot of options out there. It's about trial and error and seeing what works for you. Meditation.
Take time out, make sure that they're kind of getting enough rest. And
Yeah. It's also good to tell people that just allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Sometimes it's really helpful to, when you're in the moment of anxiety, just saying, this is what I'm feeling right now. Just ride it out and just know that this is okay,
Yeah.
you know?
Thanks so much for joining us today, Taz.
Thank you for having me.
See you next time.